All right, hello and welcome to day 3 of the 2023 47th annual Winter Fancy Foods Show, brought to you by the Specialty Food Association, happening live in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Las Vegas Convention Center. My name is Susan Choi. I am from the Food Institute. We are powering this live stream, proudly collaborating with SFA on this very special show, and we have indeed got a great show for you coming up. 1 hour of complete coverage of day 3 of the show. The floor is no less exciting. Brittany, can we get a shot, an aerial shot of the show floor? The excitement is still there. People are winding down a bit. You know, we've been doing this for the past 2 days, but it is no less amazing. The exhibitors still wanting to show the best that they've got, the buyers and attendees wanting to see what the exhibitors have for them in the world of specialty food. It's so wonderful. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors once again, our wonderful sponsors. Where would we be without them? First off, our title sponsor, Atalanta Corp, the country's largest privately held food importer company. They are your number one source when it comes to specialty foods, cheeses, globally imported cheeses, meats, delicatessen. You name it, they've got it, delivering right to your door, right to your store shelf. www.atalantacorp.com. And later we have a special treat for you. We will be talking to Atalanta about their new brand, Royal Mahout, a great, delicious line of Indian products. I also want to take time to thank Rosenthal and Rosenthal, the country's largest privately held factor and finance company, a third-generation family-owned business. They can service assets, finance consulting needs, factoring needs, alternative lending needs. They started on a loan themselves back in the day, and now they want to help people get their loans. They are your number one source for all things financial needs for your business, whether it's small or large. www.rosenthalinc.com. And finally, our silver sponsor, RSM US LLP. Whenever you have tax needs, audit needs, consulting needs, they are who you want to go to. They are a global office. They have hundreds of thousands of employees, many clients. They are friends and supporters of the food industry, and they want you to know all about how to properly manage your business, including this webcast that they have on their website, how to modernize your internal systems through cloud-based technology, through different types of modern strategies. There you go. There is the webcast right here. You can click on the link in the audience comments to find out more. And of course, join their website at www.rsmus.com. All right, now let's get on to the real good stuff. I am so excited to have with me some special guests. I first want to take it to the previous night where we had the SFA Leadership Awards. They are a wonderful awards event where the organization honors certain individuals that have made significant contributions to the specialty food industry, to the community, and I'm really happy to have on 2 very special people today, 2 winners today. We've got Dwight Richmond of Town and Country Markets, who won the SFA Outstanding Buyer Award, and we have Luke Schneider of Fire Department Coffee, yes. Who won the Citizenship Award. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me, and congratulations on your awards, first of all.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Okay, so let's start off. First off, why don't you each take time to introduce yourselves? Dwight, why don't you start off first?
Sure. Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Dwight Richmond, as you said, from Town and Country Markets. I'm the director of Center Store there.
Yes.
Been in the industry for over 30 years and have had various positions and worked for various stages in the supply chain. So I've worked in retail, worked in distribution, worked with sales management companies over the years and consulting. About half my career was at Whole Foods Market, and
Wow.
And then also I've worked at other retailers like Earth Fare, Fresh Market, and now most recently Town and Country. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, Luke, give us what you got.
All right. I'm Luke Schneider. I'm the founder and CEO of Fire Department Coffee. We are a coffee company that supports first responders, and we are veteran owned, and we sell online as well as all over the United States through retailers.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so Dwight, I want to kick it back to you. I love what was written about you in an SFA profile. As a buyer, you build brands instead of beating up on price. Can you expand on that, the importance of that?
Well, for me, yeah, the big thing about that is that, we want to build brands that are generational. You have two ways of thinking about a brand. It's short term and long term. And I want to get to know the brand and understand their strategy overall. And I want to partner with brands who have long term strategy, generational strategies, right? And that really ties to the idea of the win-win partnership of a brand and a retailer working together to bring the best possible products at the best possible price to the consumer. And so that's kind of where we were talking about in that article, is that vision that I have is really finding the synergies with people that are like-minded that want to do that as well.
Absolutely. I love that. Relationships. Yeah. It's really about fostering that relationship. Luke, I want to kick it over to you. I feel like after reading your profile, relationships, are also a significant part of your story. You met your wife, who was a barista, correct? And you were a full-time firefighter. You fell in love and started making coffee together. Tell us about the story about that, and then how fire department coffee started.
Yeah, so we, as you said, we had met when she was a barista, started brewing coffee together and then roasting it. We wanted to do a coffee. We wanted to share that coffee with our friends and family, and I wanted to do a coffee that spoke to being a firefighter and gave back. So launched Fire Department Coffee with a mission to make great coffee and support our fellow firefighters and first responders, and that was back in 2016.
I love that. And I do love the quote that you gave. I think it's that firefighters know heat, and you need to know heat to roast good beans. I think that really encapsulates.
It sounds kind of silly, when you think about it, but it's true. Like heat transfer and roasting coffee,
Absolutely.
Like understanding how that process works and how heat works. Like when you're roasting the beans, they become endothermic, and then towards the end of the roast, they become exothermic, where they're putting off their own heat. So just understanding like the principles of heat transfer is really it kind of helps in the roasting process.
Absolutely. Dwight, you mentioned before you worked at Whole Foods. I know you've also worked at many other places, Dean and DeLuca as well, to name just a few. You work at Town and Country Markets now. Tell us about that company. And also, what are some tenets? What are some things that you hold close to your heart, as a buyer? You mentioned in your article, thinking about questions, what can we do for each other? So expand about that as well.
Sure. Yeah, so Town and Country is a family-run business celebrating its 65th year in the Seattle market, and a great company, great family to work for. So values align really good in that sense. I really wanted to find a place where we had like-minded views about going to market and treating vendors with respect and dignity, and also the customers with respect and dignity as well, right? And so the synergies there. I actually was a shopper of theirs. When I was in Seattle with Whole Foods prior, I would do my shopping at my store, and then I would go to their store and do the rest of my shopping. So I learned about them over the years and had a great respect for what they did as an operator, right? So, as it relates to, my belief system is really just about the idea of kind of sort of paying it forward for the next generation, right? And for thinking through this idea of this, again, about being a generational buyer. And, somebody asked me yesterday about leadership, and I'm like, well, leadership is really only as good as you transferring that knowledge that you have to someone else. Absolutely. And then they can use that and make this a better place, make this a better industry at the end of the day, right? I fundamentally believe that I don't know anything about anything until I learn from someone else, right? And so I'm always constantly needing to learn. Just when you think you know what you think you find out something's new. And that's the beauty of the SFA show, the Fancy Food Show, is we come here every year and we learn something new. We find new trends, we find new ideas, we find fundamental shifts in the industry and the way consumers and guests are thinking about how they're consuming food and what's important to them, right? So for me, the idea at the bottom of it is that specialty food is really what's special to the consumer, to the guest when they come in the door. And I have to be able to anticipate that and be able to provide that sense of discovery and that sense of joy when they come and discover it in our stores.
I love that. It's like you're never losing that perspective as a buyer. You always want to learn. You've got that open-mindedness, and you're focusing outward instead of inward, right? You're always thinking about, how can this brand grow? I was talking to George Shajar, who I know interviewed you for the podcast, right. And he was like, I love the way that Dwight, he cares about, the brand that he's talking to, and you've helped many brands. You've helped many brands grow and succeed. as well as, doing great things in your position as a buyer, bringing great products into whatever market you're in. Luke, going back to you, I know outward focus, that's a huge reason why you won the Citizenship Award. You're thinking outward about your community, about the firehouse community. Please talk more about, how does fire department coffee pay it forward, especially, within the fireman community?
Yeah, so we didn't want to use the firefighter brand, fire department coffee, and not serve our communities. So, it wouldn't feel right. And as a firefighter myself, a previous firefighter in a team that is compromised of a lot of firefighters, we're very mission focused. And so we want to have that mission and focus on that mission. And the coffee is the product that allows us to do that. And so we are very passionate about roasting coffee, but we're also passionate about supporting our communities as well as the firefighter and veteran community.
Absolutely. Talk more specifically about what exactly do the proceeds do? How does it contribute to the firefighter community?
Yeah, so we directly contribute to organizations that support firefighters, or sometimes the individuals themselves. We also have a 501c3, which is the Fire Department Coffee Charitable Foundation. And the focus of that is sick and injured firefighters and first responders, because we felt there was a huge need for that. We had somebody that reached out to us on Facebook early on and sent us a video of he was walking with crutches and he was crushed by a tree on a wildland fire and told that he would never walk again. And I said, hey, that's incredible. He's taken steps. I said, how can we help support you? And he said, I just wanted to share some good news to a bad story. And I got to know him and got to know about the impact that he had after the incident and how he was not only dealing with the physical injuries, but also the psychological, and then being removed from that family, at the fire station, where it's like you're home away from home. For a lot of firefighters, we live there every third day, sometimes more often, if they're working overtime and stuff like that. So it's really essential for us to build that community. So we do that in multiple ways, engaging with our customers and followers online, and really, like Dwight said, building those relationships is key. We got to do that. And so those are our customers, and they support us and allow us to do what we are able to do. And we want to continue to support them and give back, especially the firefighters who are in need.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you so much for being here and just shining a light on such an important topic, an important aspect of any community, firemen, right? I think, you guys are our heroes, but it's easy for us to forget, heroes are humans too, right? And things can happen to you guys. And so we need to give back to you guys too. And Fire Department Coffee, this is a great way to give back, I think. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So tell us the website. Where can people find out
it's
about it?
firedeptcoffee.com. But we're pretty strong in digital marketing. So if you just search Fire Department Coffee, we'll pop right up.
All right. And there it is right there on the website.
Awesome. Thank you.
People should check it out. And Dwight, tell us about where can people find out more about Town and Country Markets?
Yeah, again, we also have a website, townandcountrymarkets.com. Again, you can Google us and find us pretty quick. Seattle-based local area chain there. And, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn and stuff too. So if manufacturers, makers want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to try to support and help where I can. So.
All right, wonderful. Well, Dwight Richmond of Town and Country Markets, winner of the SFA Outstanding Buyer Award, and Luke Schneider of Fire Department Coffee, winner of the SFA Citizenship Award. Congratulations again to you both, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Susan.
All right. Yeah, my pleasure. All right. Well, we're going to kick it over to the Confectionery Pavilion, the Candy Pavilion. Such a great place for the Fancy Foods Show. So exciting. We've got our wonderful reporter who is wearing a candy-colored shirt himself in honor of the coverage he's about to do, Jordan Wiklund, the one and only. Kicking it over to you, Jordan. How are you doing, and what are you seeing on the floor?
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Right. It is day 3, the final day of the Specialty Food Association Fancy Food Show. We are back in the confectionery section, the Confectionery Pavilion, of course. and everyone is scrambling around a little bit, you know, getting their final samples, getting business cards, stuffing their gobs with candy if that's what they're here to do. And as Gene Wilder said as Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. So let's see what's on tap today in the candy aisle. Come on back. I am going to attempt to master the backwards walking technique as we head toward our first vendor. But marshmallow is hot. Food-stalgia is hot. Things that were big 20 years ago, 30 years ago are back in various forms, various candies. The licenses are flying all around the globe. And, you know, it's candy. It's day 3 of a very busy, very fun show. Everyone needs a little pick-me-up. It's fun. Everyone sort of assumes that down at BMI near the Atalanta booth, the Guinness company is in fact pouring beers, but that is of course not the case. But you might be able to get your happy fix anyway here in the Candy Pavilion, the confectionery and the sweets. You can surely see, excuse me, you can surely see all around. You know, savory, sweet, it's all here. Speaking of sweet, I'm here with Wiklund and Schmunk of the Chili Chews Company. They are located out of Los Angeles, California. And as far as I understand it, they got the world's best gourmet chili candy.
Yes, we do. So we're Chili Chews. We make sweet, sour, spicy gummies. And what we do is we take this regular, boring old candy and we put some real chili on it. And we get this amazing combination of flavors that basically take your taste buds on a roller coaster, and they're really addicting.
Yeah, we only started 2.5 years ago. The first year and a half, we were only D2C through our online website. And the past year, we started retail and went from 0 to 2,500 retail doors.
Fantastic. So when did you guys decide chili candy was it for me? I'm done. I'm out of the general market. I'm launching into chili.
So basically, Beacon and I were students at our universities, and COVID happened, and we're like, okay, what do we do now? We can't get a job. We have to pay for rent. We have to do all these things, and we always wanted to start a business together, and we grew up eating and making these candies, and we thought it was the perfect time to try to experiment, dip our toes into the entrepreneur world, and really get something going, and we're so proud of what we've been able to create in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey, and all we've been doing is learning. Every single day is a challenge. It's an experience, positive or negative, you know. And it's been great to have an amazing team with us alongside Shant, Emilio, and Elia. We've been having a great team and working together and going through all these experiences together.
Thank you. Yeah, I came in on very short notice. The company gave me about 72 hours, so I was jet lagged. I was bleary eyed, and I saw the pink background of Chili Chews and was just immediately attracted. I was lucky enough to have some of the early bags laid on me. I'll be very happy to give the chili one a go. The strawberry chili, as you can see.
Okay, all right. So let's see what Jordan has to think of these gummies. Okay, so right now, let me explain what's going on in his mouth. So he's getting that sweetness, he's getting that spice, he's getting that sour bit, and it's really a roller coaster. If you've never tried something like this, it's something out of this world, and people just fall in love with it instantly. Sometimes it takes a few little chews, but it's really something out of this world, and we're so proud of what we've been able to create.
Yeah, definitely check us out. We're on chilichews.com. We're sold in Texas, Oklahoma, and Utah in 7-Eleven corporate and franchise stores. We're nationwide with Urban Outfitters, Zoomies, Lolly and Pops. We're everywhere. We're in over 2,500 retail doors, and we're estimated to hit about 5,000 retail doors at the end of 2023.
Thanks, guys. Truly delicious. The chili bits are a little bit larger than you might expect, as is the candy. I kind of forgot about that. But best of luck, guys. We'll see you again. All right, let's keep moving on. From one trend to another, we are going to head back to the Ocho Candy Company, a vegan-based caramel company. I'm trying to read George's eyes here and not hit any... Oh, excuse me. I'm going to speed up a bit. We are on our way. So, I am with Emily Auerbach, brand manager at Ocho Candy. Emily, I was astounded at the quality of your product.
Thank you so much. People usually are. We say that it's the best chocolate candy you're ever going to taste, and we stand behind that 100%. It's also organic and fair trade, and in the case of our new line, certified vegan.
May I try one?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, can you open it, please? If only I had a third hand. There we go. I'm going to give it a go. The first time I tried this, I didn't even look at the product, not quite knowing what to expect. There is no way you would know this is a vegan product. You get a very crisp chocolate crunch immediately, followed by the smooth gooiness of the caramel inside. Can you maybe tell me a little bit about how you achieve the texture and the flavor and what goes into vegan chocolate?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple things that make this product, our new line of plant-based caramels, really unique. The first is the chocolate. So we use a tempered molded chocolate shell, which gives it that incredible shine and snap. And then the center is using Miyoko's European-style cultured vegan butter to get that incredible buttery, rich flavor that you're looking for from a caramel, as well as having that ooey gooey texture that you really want from a caramel that pulls.
Yes, that was extremely descriptive. Thank you. It's really fun coming to a pavilion like this because I went from a spice candy company, which is extremely on trend. We cover rising heat all the time, to vegan. I mean, everywhere we go, every pavilion all around the Specialty Food Association, plant-based is here to stay. And I think it's a little bit of an easier sell when it comes in a delicious chocolate square. So, I mean, what's kind of next for your company? Are you looking to distribute and grow what you have now? Well, of course you are. But is there anything sort of in the hopper we might see next year, or any advancements in the tech or the textures?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of really exciting advancements that are coming up. We're going to be debuting some new products at Expo West in March, which we're really excited about. And then over the course of this next year, we're really going to be working with retailers as well as with influencers and consumer shows to make sure that every vegan and dairy-free consumer knows about these plant-based caramels, because vegan and dairy-free consumers deserve a better caramel that doesn't taste like coconut and tastes like real caramel.
Phenomenal. It's a good thing you're talking to influencers such as the Food Institute right now. Emily, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
We are going to move now one more over, another California-based company, the AWA Imports. I am with Hiro Tome, General Manager. Hiro, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having an opportunity to introduce your product here. Thank you.
When I was first kind of browsing around, I saw marshmallow everything, and I was astounded to learn that marshmallow is kind of an on-trend flavor and texture. It's viscous. It can act as kind of an unguent, if you will, from all manner of foods. And I had to come talk to Hiro. So. Food nostalgia is something we cover all the time. I'm one of the older millennials, but I remember Hello Kitty from 30 years ago. Why do you think this brand continues to resonate?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to give a little history about the marshmallow. How was the marshmallow developed in this U.S.? The marshmallow was known as the food ingredient being used on this, but we are introducing marshmallow as a snack, injecting some of the flavor like a chocolate, the mangoes, pineapple, and a matcha. And that's how we develop. And then obviously on top of that, we do use a very iconic Hello Kitty brand. That's the one really helped us, because brand we have was unknown over here. And relative, of course, Hello Kitty is an iconic brand on this. So last 15 years, we are introducing very unique type of the marshmallow in this country, yes.
Thank you. If you stuck with me this far, you know what the next step is. I got to try the green tea marshmallow. Excuse me a moment, Hiro. Green tea flavor comes through immediately. I assume most people know what a good marshmallow tastes like. It's fluffy, it's light, It's delicious.
So now this is a new innovation of the marshmallow. We combine a gummy and the marshmallow together. This is the entire new product. We're introducing a new series of marshmallow. So we're gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, and from what I understand, you have a rather large announcement maybe to make about the future of the product.
Oh yes, and the future of the product, of course, very unique type of the marshmallow. I think now the people realize marshmallow as a snack. So I just hoping that we can open up the category basis. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope so too. Hiro, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be in touch. Absolutely. Another day at the Fancy Food Association. Susan, I bet you wish you were here.
We do. You need to get me some samples. You need to put them on a silver tray and bring them back to the studio. And that's how you'll get a raise.
Really? I can do that. Thank you so much.
All right, the amazing Jordan Wiklund, everybody, reporting to you live from the Confectionery Pavilion here at the Las Vegas Convention Center for the 47th Annual SFA Winter Fancy Foods Show. I am your host, Susan Choi. Thank you for joining us, reminding you that you really need to post in the audience comments, like, comment, share. We want to hear from you. We want to know who you are. We want to give you a shout out. So please do so, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you're watching, please let us know. Give us a hello. We'll put your we'll put your comment up. We'll give you some love. All right. So moving on, I want to talk about one of some of the other great things that SFA provides besides these fancy foods shows. They've got a lot to offer: educational resources, classes, webinars, and they also have some great multimedia offerings. One of them is the Spill and Dish podcast. It's a place where certain members are highlighted and they get to share the most amazing stories, about where they came from, what their product is, because it's about the stories, it's about the stories behind the product, the people. And Brittany Borer got to talk to Julie Gallagher about what makes the Spill and Dish podcast so special. Please take a look.
Self off. We're recording now. So Brittany, whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm Brittany Borer here with Julie Gallagher, Director of Content Development for SFA. Julie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Sure, I'm glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the Spill and Dish podcast.
Sure. So Spill and Dish is the Specialty Food Association's podcast that we launched now about a year ago. And each episode focuses on the stories behind the products that are made and sold by our members. So we're uncovering the often fascinating professional journeys of our member guests, who are usually food entrepreneurs, but sometimes they're retail buyers. And you'd be really surprised at the dramatic career pivots and the extreme resourcefulness that many times leads to the creation of the specialty products that we all know and love.
And so the Spill and Dish podcast, who can listen to it? Is it for SFA members only, or is it available to everybody?
That's a great question. So we encourage everyone to listen to these episodes since they're very entertaining. So whether you're a member of the industry or not, food is obviously such a relatable topic. So while only SFA members can be guests on our podcast, anyone can listen wherever they get their podcasts. And you can find out more about the show on specialtyfood.com, as well as heritageradionetwork.org, which is our partner in producing Spill and Dish, and that's a food radio station.
Great. So yeah, that was actually going to be one of my questions. Where could we find it? So thank you for answering that one. Could you tell me a little bit about some of the highlights of the podcast so far? Some of your favorite episodes, maybe?
Sure. So there's one particularly captivating story, and that was the story of Channy Laux of Angkor Cambodian Foods. And I feel like her story should just be made into a movie because she's such an inspiration. She actually survived the Cambodian killing fields of the 1970s. And she unfortunately lost her 12-year-old brother and her father during that time. And she, her mother, and her surviving siblings emigrated to Nebraska. And she was always just so thankful to the U.S. government for providing refuge that she learned English. She studied very hard in school just so that she could one day give back to the government. She ended up becoming a senior staff engineer in the biotech industry. And that was a very fulfilling career for her. She was giving back with her discoveries. But then her mother took ill and she unfortunately passed away. So all of a sudden, the meaning that and the fulfillment that she had in her career took a back burner. And what she wanted to do instead was honor her mother and honor her mother's memory. So she started creating her fresh hot sauce recipes and selling them on the weekends at the farmer's market that was nearby. So on the weekdays, she had this high-powered job, and then on the weekend, she'd be distributing samples, and she definitely got a few puzzled looks from her colleagues when they saw her, and they were sort of, scratching their head about why she was working at the farmer's market on the weekend. But the business became very successful, and now she does this full time. Another very interesting guest, his name is Stephen Caldwell of Rosty's Stuffed Spuds. So he was an entrepreneur in a different industry, but he had a business partner that mismanaged some funds, and he basically lost everything. He had 5 children at home, but he's ever the optimist, and he somehow convinced his wife that even though they didn't know, how they were going to make ends meet, that they should launch a food business. So he somehow convinced her. He ended up doing R&D. Part of the R&D was sharing samples of his product with members of the homeless population. He caught the attention of Sarah Massoni at the Oregon Food Innovation Center, which is a food incubator, and she brought him in. He began producing his products there. He sampled his products at one of the fancy food shows in Incubator Village, and he actually caught the attention of Whole Foods Market, and a year later, he had nationwide distribution in Whole Foods. So these are just some of the amazing stories that we get to uncover when hosting these episodes.
Wow, there's just such strength there, resilience, and just positivity. I just love that. I'm gonna have to check those episodes out, Julie. So, so what are your goals for the podcast this year? What kind of topics are you craving to cover?
So my goals for the podcast this year are to get more people listening. Our episodes are just so interesting and entertaining and inspirational. If you like a good underdog story, definitely tune in. And personally, I'd like to interview more retail buyers to get their perspective, which I think will help our maker members in the long run.
And my final question for you, Julie, what does your dream episode look like? If you could have any guest on the podcast, who would it be?
That's a really tough question. I don't know that I have a dream guest for the podcast. I just love uncovering all of these gems, all of these stories that, you may not have known about had you not asked questions of these guests. So I think just continuing to hear the stories of our maker members and our retail buyer members is something that I'm going to continue looking forward to doing.
Well, Julie Gallagher, Director of Content Development at SFA, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks so much to Brittany Bohr and Julie Gallagher for that great conversation about the Spill and Dish podcast, which you can find out more about on www.specialtyfood.com. All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to have some really special guests with me. I really want you to be sure that you check out this interview. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this brief message. All right, and we're back, and I'm so pleased. Again, we have some very special guests, some more wonderful winners of the SFA Leadership Awards, a wonderful awards event that honors certain individuals in the Specialty Food Association that have made significant contributions in their own communities as well as in the specialty food industry. I have with me David Schmunk of African Dream Foods, and I have Dani Zuchovicki of the Hatchery Chicago, both well-deserved winners of the Emerging Leader Awards. Sorry, I'm losing a little steam here. It's day 3, but I'm no less excited to have you both on. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the exposure.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so let's start off with who you guys are and what you guys each do. Why don't you kick it off first, David?
We're African Dream Foods. We make products from Africa. Right now we have a line of hot sauces and seasonings, 8 flavors, and we support wildlife conservation with every bottle purchased.
Awesome. And I did mention this to you before, but I did stop by the booth. And your lovely assistant, she had this beautiful name. I forget what it was, but she squirted habanero sauce on my ice cream cone.
Oh, she's good doing that.
It was but it was great. It was a taste explosion. It was the Turkish ice cream from the booth over somewhere, and it was like coffee flavored. And she's like, "Can I?" And I was like, "But this is ice cream." And she's like, "No, it's fine." It was great. It was wonderful. All right, Dani, over to you. Tell us about Hatchery Chicago.
Yeah, so I'm Dani Zuchovicki, and I'm the membership and community manager at the Hatchery Chicago, where we're a nonprofit food and beverage incubator designed to support entrepreneurs with a concept and launching and growing their business. So we really are bringing the resources directly to an area that is often overlooked in Chicago on the west side in East Garfield Park.
Right.
We have a facility there that is 67,000 square feet. We have private kitchen spaces as well as a shared kitchen. So really empowering entrepreneurs to self-produce and improve the viability of their concepts. And most importantly, we do a lot of the wraparound support, so really helping entrepreneurs with educational tools. So we run a monthly class called Starting a Food Business, where we give them the ins and outs of everything of entering in this industry, from financing to developing, having a strong brand, and then really navigating the licensing and certificates that are in a requirement in Chicago.
Yeah, one thing I've learned covering the food industry so far, that it is tough. It is tough setting up your brand. There's a lot of, hoops to jump through. There's a lot of things you got to keep in track of. So it's so great that you've got that for, up and coming brands, like this kind of incubator type of space, providing that encouragement. David, I want to kick it over to you. The Emerging Leader Award, I mean, the idea of emergence, I feel like that's so key, and it's so aligned with, a place like Africa, which is, in terms of cuisine, it's been like a burgeoning kind of like market space, in the food industry. Tell me more about, how does African Dream Foods, promote, the, African culture and like those flavors, right? Like talk about that, your mission, your passion for Africa.
Well, I feel just Africa is underrepresented, like African products, and the mission was to bring the flavors of Africa, because I think they have a lot to offer with their cuisine and the cookies, the cooking, the different type of peppers that are kind of exclusively or mostly grown there, to be able to make some products. I think it's just there's not enough African stuff in the U.S., and the mission was to just bring more of it and introduce people to Africa and have basically the consumer help support wildlife conservation with just the everyday purchases of mainstream products. And right now we launched with the hot sauces, and we are hoping to kind of get on the shelves everywhere and just introduce the mass market to African products that potentially they wouldn't try otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that, there's also more to it than just showcasing, African flavors. You do good with the profits that you get. Is it like a portion of the proceeds go towards preserving African wildlife, right? Can you talk to us more about that?
So 10 cents of every bottle purchased, 10 to 40 cents. We have a Big Chef's bottle. 40 cents of that goes to, right now we have 2 organizations that we support. And I mean, wildlife conservation is kind of a hot topic. There's a lot of corruption, and there's a lot of, it's just kind of like a dirty thing. And like, we wanted to find something and kind of get the conversation going, like, what's the best way to have animal conservation? What is actually the best way to do it? Is it anti-poaching? Is it like rescue organization? Is it zoos? Is it like, so it's kind of like, there's a lot of disagreement. There's like a whole dehorning of rhinos. That's like, you preserve them by dehorning them, or are you, actually hurting them by dehorning them? And it's like the whole trade of, ivory and horns and stuff. It's a very big, messy topic. And so we're actually supporting education about animals and just getting appreciation for these animals through photography. It's kind of our mission right now. The Paws Trails organization, they're like a photographer-centric nonprofit, and Wild Shots Outreach, which teaches kind of like the people in the community that would never be able to afford to go like to these national parks to see the animals they kind of live around.
Absolutely.
They teach them photography, and then some of these people have won awards for photography, and they're kind of just pushing the message of conservation through photography. But eventually there are going to be different organizations as we find good projects, and like, just companies that are doing good or trying to do the best they can for conservation. We want to support those organizations with every, right now it's sauce, but in the future, once we have more items, every item is going to directly support these organizations.
I love that. It's just, sauce is just the beginning of a greater plan. Yeah, absolutely. Dani, let's go over to you. Empowerment seems to be a big thing at the hatchery, encouraging these small businesses, empowering them with knowledge. Explain more about what you do. You did a great summary of what the hatchery offers. Let's get more into that. What are you most proud of, in what you do to support, the smaller businesses?
Oh man. I'm most proud of just all the entrepreneurs that are resilient and have so much drive, and really, are taking the first step by seeking out support. I'm sure, David, you've experienced this. You feel very alone as an entrepreneur, and you're trying to figure out the answers as you're going. And sometimes, you fail. Sometimes you mess up, or you didn't find the right person to support you. But all of those, and this is what I say to the entrepreneurs, is those are all successes still. You tried, and that's important. And so one of the programs that we developed when I joined the hatchery was the Sprouts Incubation Program. And it's really getting deep into a business as they're just starting, to really hold their hand and help them in that initial phase, because there's been so many times that we've seen entrepreneurs come to us really, for example, at David's stage, where you have a lot of things going on, but you missed a whole bunch of things, and so now you're playing catch up and trying to fix these things. And I'm pretty sure David has learned so much during his entrepreneurial journey, and so that's where we can give back to those entrepreneurs by saying, okay, let's get you started on the right foot financially and administratively, getting you all the licensing and certificates, helping you navigate all of that from the get-go, because in this industry alone, there's so many things that you have to consider, because food can hurt someone, right? If you're ingesting something that isn't properly cured for or taken care of, it could make someone really ill and could ultimately lead to death. And so we want to have our entrepreneurs really start off with understanding food safety. So we do work with the Illinois Restaurant Association to provide serve safe training, and really adjust some of those costs as well, because it can be cumbersome to do a lot of these startup costs as well. And then primarily with our West Side community as well, where we're offering more of that at a free rate, or not rate, right? But it's free for them, so that way they can access it directly and continue a pathway of, their career, growing professionally, maybe entering into the restaurant space. We have a program called the Impact Program, and it's a culinary training program where we've actually partnered with Chef Rick Bayless.
Great.
Yes, it's
a beloved
amazing.
figure.
A beloved man.
Yeah.
He's such a staple in Chicago. And has done so much in this industry alone, especially in Chicago. So he continues to do so, and is able to provide a training program where he's bringing in all of his chef friends into the facility and teaching hands-on these amazing students who are between the ages of 16 to 24, and really helping them navigate that space. And then they offer paid internships into some of these incredible restaurants that, most of us are just dying to work for, to get in. And so there's really that pathway in there. So that way they can train, they can understand and see if it is the right fit for them. And for the most part, they secure employment by being there as well. So really, we do have our hands in a lot of things in the food industry, but really our focus is to make sure that entrepreneurs have the resources necessary and can really launch successfully.
Absolutely. Yep. Giving back, providing opportunities. That's what it's all about. I mean, there's a reason why you both won this award, Emerging Leaders. Dani Zuchovicki of the Hatchery Chicago and David Schmunk of African Dream Foods. Thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to turn it over to the one and only Ron Tanner, who is at the EU Pavilion. He's got so much to share with us. Ron, what are you looking at? What are you seeing? We love to have you always. Kicking it over to you.
The EU is the sponsor country for the Winter Fancy Food Show. Very, very happy to have them here to be doing that. Lots of great products. They're sampling processed meat, cheese, chocolates. But we'd like to start by talking to Camelia Pereski from the European Union, who's helped organize this. So could you tell me a little bit about what you're accomplishing here and how you've been accepted by the people at the show?
Yes, thank you so much. We're very happy to be here at the Winter Fancy Food Show as the partner country, a partner region from the European Union. We have a splendid, fantastic time with the people and with the visitors. We have been presenting them the variety and diversity of the European products that are on the market in the US, but also new products. We're very happy to be here with our stand. It's the first time that we are at such a pavilion in the US, and the US is a very important market for us. It's the second one for the European Union. Our purpose here with our stand is to showcase the excellence and the quality of European food across different sectors. So indeed, you have mentioned cheese, wine and spirits, processed meat, but also confectionery, and the focus is of course on sustainability, on the authenticity and the tradition, and what the European products in their diversity can offer for the US buyers and for the US consumers. And with our stand, what we do is to bring an umbrella and a lot of diversity and representatives of different member states. So you would see cheeses not only from Italy and France and Spain, the most well-known ones, but also we have products from Croatia, we have ham from Hungary, from Poland, we have sweets from Romania. So it's really giving the taste and flavor of tradition, culture and authenticity of all European products. And we have had quite a very good cooperation with the SFA, and we're very happy with the visitors at our stand who have engaged on different workshops. We have had yesterday on olive oil and also on cheese, on wine. Upcoming, we have different cooking shows with one US chef and one Italian chef. So really it's showing how we can cooperate together and how the US market can benefit from the taste of Europe, basically.
Well, thank you. You have a lot of great countries to bring their products from. And it's nice that you're bringing a spread from all different parts of Europe because, you know, so many people think of Italy and France and Spain, and they have wonderful food products. But there are great food products everywhere, and it's great to see the EU come together to bring everything here.
Thank you so much. And pass by to our stand for the ones that are still looking at us, and I hope that you will be enjoying the diversity of our European cultural and traditions and food. So pass by to our stand and discover our authentic products. Thank you.
Thank you, Camelia. We're going to walk over here to the wines and take a look at them, and then we're going to talk to the chef who's preparing all these great products. So it's really wonderful that people were here. We had to clear people out of the wine area so we could go take a look at them, and we're going to go here and, you know, ask a little bit. So what wines do you have? From what countries do you have, and what are people enjoying here?
So right now we're pouring a Barbara d'Asti, which is coming out of Italy, and we're pouring vodka, which is out of Sweden. But throughout the show, we've had products spanning from France, from Germany, so things that have been of real interest. We had our Tokai from Hungary, which got people really excited about a product they'd never heard before.
Oh, that's great, and I'm sure there's been a lot of people coming by to taste the wines and then taste them with the cheeses and with the meats and with the chocolates. You know, a lot of great combinations here. Have you seen a lot of buyers that have been coming by and, you know, sampling the wines?
We've been sampling a lot of different products, but the focus isn't more so on meeting with buyers as much as it is to emphasize the sustainability and quality of products that the European Union is able to produce.
And Europe does that very, very well. You know, I think they're a little bit ahead of the United States in sustainability and, you know, being friendly to the planet. So great. Thank you very much. We're going to come over here and talk to the chef who's getting ready for a 1 o'clock class. So we're going to walk around here and going to go and talk to... Hello there. How are you getting ready for your class? Okay, great, great. German Rizzo, so you got a German first name and an Italian last name. Yes, and what are you doing here? What are you going to be preparing, and how has been the response to your cooking of these great products from Europe?
So this is my last master class for the day and also for the fancy show, and I'm honored to make a risotto in 2 ways. two techniques, two flavors, two tastes, and two different way to make the same ingredient, but with different kind of products. So it's gonna take probably for risotto carnaroli 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and I hope the audience is gonna enjoy our meal.
What are the two different ways that you're going to be making the risotto?
So one risotto is gonna be cacio e pepe, so classic from Lazio, middle of Italy, and the other one is gonna be truffle and Reggianito from Lithuania. So as you know, we are European Union market, so we're representing products from all over the Europe, and it's great to work with these amazing products and sustainable farmed and organic. So
How has the response been to your food? I'm sure people are very happy, and you must be happy to be able to, cook with all these amazing products and show people how to use them in their stores or in their restaurants, however they would use them when they go back to their places of business.
as a business owner based in New York City, it's very important to teach the people in the way they can use in their own business, but also in the way they can use it in the house. We have a lot of people, household, like a housewife, people they're not in the business, and they want to learn to do this. So that is very important.
And you traveled from New York to do this, so I hope you had good travels here, and good luck with your 1 o'clock. It looks like people are lining up to get in here, so you're going to have a pretty big crew for your class here. So thank you very much, Darren. Appreciate the time. Now you could look around here and take a look and see everybody's coming in for the class and getting very excited here to try German's different food products. So we're going to walk over here a little bit, show a little bit of the chocolate and confectionery, some of it coming from all kinds of different places, and just take a look at that. And looking forward to what's going to happen here at the European Union. If you happen to be on the show floor and see this, please come by. You can taste these two different great risottos that are being put together and come back and try all the great products from Europe that are coming here. So the European Union is a major part of food in the United States, and the food is wonderful, as we all know, but we need to learn a little bit more about how that food can be. So if you are here at the Fancy Food Show, come on by and taste some of these great food products.
All right, Ron Tanner, such a wonderful layout of the EU Pavilion. Thank you so much for that exclusive on the ground look. Now we're going to turn to our title sponsor, whom we are so grateful for, Atalanta Corp, the country's largest privately held food importer in the United States, as I said before, bringing products from all over the globe right to your store shelves, right into your pantry. www.atalantacorp.com for more information. And we're going into a very special piece that I recorded earlier for you, where we talk to people from Atalanta all about their new line of Indian products. It's called Royal Mahout. You need to know about it. Take a look. Well, we are here with two very special people from the Atalanta family. And as you know, Atalanta, we give big thanks to our title sponsor, AtalantaCorp.com, the largest privately held food importer in the United States of America, delivering wonderful, delicious products from around the globe right to your store shelves that go right into your pantry shelf. And I have here with me Katie Baldwin, Senior Brand Manager of Atalanta Corp, and Scott Fegler, Director of Business Development. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so within the wonderful group of Atalanta products, we have a really special brand that we're going to talk about today, Royal Mahout. Katie, can you tell us all about this brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So Royal Mahout is actually one of our globally inspired brands with products primarily from the Indian subcontinent, which is really exciting because as we see, a lot of consumers are interested in fusion cuisine and globally inspired cuisine. So we're seeing a lot of popularity with the consumer demographic in the US. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a hot culinary cuisine, right? Indian food, it's got the spice, it's got the flavor, it's got the variety of different types of dishes. It's really cool that Atalanta is tapping into that market. Scott, tell me about what does Royal Mahout offer within the catalog?
Sure. So our big item is our paneer. We offer 3 flavors. There is a chipotle, there's a jalapeno, and there's a turmeric with black pepper. We also carry 2 desserts, a gulab jamun and a rasmalai. Those are very typical Indian desserts. And lastly, we carry basmati rice and ghee, the butter type substitute.
Right, the ghee, so important, so essential in Indian cooking, that clarified butter. They use it all the time in their daily cooking, the routine. I love that. So, Scott, we saw in the First Bite publication that Royal Mahout, they have 3 new items that they're launching this spring. Can you tell me more about those and how can they be used?
Yeah, sure. So we're launching 3 10-ounce exact weight portions. So this is the chipotle, the jalapeno, and the turmeric.
Okay.
They are used mainly from a really globally inspired culinary menu. So the versatility of tacos, empanadas. The products themselves do not melt, so it really lends themselves
Oh,
to
wow.
grilling. You throw it right on the hot top.
That's just like halloumi cheese.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, we see a lot of the times too that paneer is used as a tofu substitute. So if you think about all the different ways that you can use tofu, a lot of those times we see consumers picking up paneer the same way, which is really awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. Katie, tell us about Royal Mahout. What was it about this brand that you all felt, oh, this is a must-have for the Atalanta family?
Yeah, so as I think we were talking a little bit, it's really globally inspired. It has so much flavor to the brand. Paneer in general is such a flexible item. And then on top of that, you have all the other products in our portfolio. It really fits nicely from the cuisine perspective. And so we just felt like it was something that we could really get behind. There's so much trend and staying power behind Indian cuisine that we're really excited to have it as a part of our main focus for this year.
Right. Talking with so many people in the food industry, just in the past few months alone, it really is all about, for consumers, they want that diverse range of flavors. So it's really cool that Atalanta, again, tapping into the South Asian market. How can people find out more about this brand, most importantly?
Yeah, so we have a new website called royalmahout.com.
Awesome. Yep.
And then we also are available on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow us for all the updates.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katie Baldwin and Scott Fegler of Atalanta Corp. Thank you for telling us all about the brand Royal Mahout. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Special thanks to Atalanta Corporation, our title sponsor, www.atalantacorp.com. Also, big thanks to our platinum sponsor, Rosenthal and Rosenthal at www.rosenthalinc.com. And finally, our silver sponsor, RSM at www.rsmus.com. And that is it. That is our show. That is the final end to day 3 of live coverage. Man, what a whirlwind ride it's been. And I am so glad that you were here with me for the ride. Couple bumps along the way, but overall it was so awesome. You saw the action on the floors. You saw the insight on these interviews. You saw the engagement in the pre-recorded segments. You saw it all, and we are so appreciative for this opportunity here at the Food Institute. To remind you, Food Institute, the source that powers this live stream for the Specialty Food Association, the #1 source you need for all things food and beverage industry news, www.foodinstitute.com. And I want to make sure that you know that this live stream was not only for your enjoyment, but it comes with a purpose to make sure that maybe you should come, right? You should come and be a member and check out these shows in person for yourself. The Summer Fancy Foods Show is coming 2023, June 25th to 27th. In New York City at the Javits Center. Check it out at www.specialtyfood.com. A lot of links I gave you, but I know you guys are smart. You can carry it all in your heads. I am Susan Choi. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you had a great time. These links will live on forever, these recordings. So please, rewatch for your viewing pleasure. Like, comment, share with your fellow friends and colleagues. it will live on and for your future enjoyment. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you at Summer Fancy Foods. Thanks again. Take care.